I am now going to the second item about innovation in the ENR Enterprise Management Platform. We have seen in the last talk that the catalog generator with this XML DB viewer is a very good ingredient. Now the next one connects to a central catalog, what we call concurrent IP-centric management platforms. What does it mean? That means that in IP you have listed your IP in a catalog. But when you are working on your catalog, you need external data. You need to see data from external sources. So the idea was to put around the catalog what we call a management panel. You can look at them like intelligent dashboards collecting real-time data from multiple design database or sources. And by the way, it could also be extensible to workflow. The overall goal is to view at a glance all IP-centric key data. That means the data you need to manage correctly your IP business. That means that the user can follow up the product life cycle. You have IP, but you have IP history or revision version. You have bugs. You want to see IP usage, IP maturity, client delivery, financing, marketing. You can easily imagine how many different data you would like to see to handle your IP. So the idea was to an unified IP product data viewer, pumping in data from external sources. This is a simple example. You have IP and you have bugs. So you can create what we call a bug panel. The bug panel, you create a format like you did for the catalog by using the set of types created by DNR. So here, for instance, you say part number. This is an item of my format, but this part number is bridged to the catalog. Instead of saying this is a text type, which gives you the part number, it's not only written that's a text, but it has to be a bridge to the catalog. That means that the part number is the one of the IP catalog, or if you prefer, that the bug is related to an IP, the part number of which is this one, and this is related to the catalog. As a result, in the IP catalog, you have a link. That means you can click on IP bug panel, and immediately it gives you the set of bugs of this IP. That means that using both cataloging and panels, you can put around your catalog all the data somebody needs to manage his IP. The IP panel can be extended to become workflow. So here you see what we call a download panel. What can happen to a panel? The file can be extracted from somewhere, and if authorized, somebody can make a download request. So there can be what we call a download panel, which is in fact the record of all the download requests made at the catalog level. That means at the catalog you have a download request button, and then this first line or this item is entered in this panel. So you see here that you have approver, admin approval. That means that when the user clicks on download, a mail is emitted automatically to somebody called approver. And as long as the approver has not said, I approve, in a mail or on online site, this download process is stopped. And this changes it in a workflow. That means that in a panel you have much more type that you have in a catalog. You have this control type. You can say my next field is a control type. The person who has to approve is. And after that you have the report on an effective download. So this control function can be the person who has to approve. It could also be a control function. You compute something, and if it's okay, the workflow can go on. So there are just some examples of extremely powerful management panel of DNR. Another example is the licensing process. You are in a catalog and you would like to use an IP from somebody. So you make a license request. So we call this a license request panel. And you see here you have an IP name, vendor name, and you have a button called Enable License. If you have not a free software hardware level, the license request will go to somebody. And then you will have to sign a license agreement, and you will have to have a license, and so on. That means that the panel can be extended to be workflows very easily in this technology. So by grouping together the catalog technology and the panel technology, which are intelligent dashboard or workflow, the environment is fully comprehensive to handle all IP management facets. So for the next talk, we will give example of successful application about this technology.